Today's message: we must learn to enjoy the slow climb to wealth. We have to, because those who seek to get rich fast, they always end up poor very slowly. It just trickles out their cash. You don't believe me? Look at lottery winners. It's all right there. Welcome back, all my free thinkers, to another episode of Grow Rich, Grow Happy, that place where we follow the breadcrumbs to wealth. And guys, I got an episode for you. We're going to be talking about the Metallicus ecosystem, and we're going to be talking about something that I see peppered throughout the Metallicus videos that I do. Every now and then I'll see these comments saying, what about the lawsuit? What happened with that? What happened with the lawsuit? Talk about the lawsuit. And a good researcher, or someone who really cares about their investments, they're going to look at things like that, and they're going to go turn over those rocks. It's responsible investing. That's what you do. So I've been hearing this, and I say I'm going to go down that rabbit hole and see what happened, because no one is squeaky clean. And I mean, no one. None of these major companies. There's a saying that I've always heard, that great wealth, you can trace great wealth, any great wealth in the world, to a major crime that took place somewhere in history. So we're going to discuss that. And in this particular episode, let me just put this out there right now. This is not to place judgment, because I'm not a judge or a lawyer or anything like that. I'm not a part of no jury that's out here trying to say that you're guilty. And I'm not here to absolve anyone of any wrongdoing at all. This is just responsible research into an asset that I hold, and it helps me make up the decision as if it's something I'm going to continue holding. So with that, I'm going to take you guys on a journey through that, and then we're going to pivot, and we're going to look at it through a different lens that I think you guys are going to find helpful. And my whole reason for doing this, guys, is I don't want people, because when it comes to cryptocurrency, there's all kind of voices that come at you. You see it on social media. You see these factions and these groups, and they stand up and they say, our crypto's the best. No, mine is the best. And my whole reason for being here is to help you become a free thinker and make up your own mind and stay out the factions. So with that being said, guys, smash that like button, give me a sub, hit that bell notification so that you don't miss any of these videos. Look down below at all the freebies and help and things over on growrichgrowhappy.com. But make sure you get your cold storage wallet. Do not trust any exchanges, guys. Don't trust them. Don't trust these big institutions with your money. Pull it off these exchanges. Get you a cold storage wallet. Got a 10% discount down below on Tangem. Tangem is the best way to go. That 10% does go to support this channel. So we're going to jump over here, because the first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you something that I feel is important. And Metal Blockchain posted this, and Marshall Hayner reposted it. So we're going to talk about this. And this is a 12-second video. And as you notice, the young lady here, she has 900,000 Bitcoin, but this is back in 2009 when Bitcoin first came out. She probably paid like $10. Who knows, right? But if you hold, you just imagine how much she'd have now. But we're just going to watch this 12 seconds, because it's a lesson in this.
So how many Bitcoins do you have?
900,000.
That's cool. And you're just holding?
I mean, it's not nothing. Imagine if it goes to $100. That'd be crazy.
You'd be set for life.
We'll see. For now, it's just numbers on a screen.
You see that? She said, imagine if it goes to $100. Great wealth. A lot of great wealth that was created comes from just those magic words. And that one magic word, excuse me. Imagine. Imagine if it reaches this. Imagine if it reaches that. And I always tell you guys, you're only going to reach that if you continue to hold, but you have to do your research, because it might be times to let it go too. So we're going to jump over here, because I want to talk about this lawsuit. Came across this lawsuit because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and search it out. And this is not the lawsuit, but this is a guy by the name of Josh Davis, and he's with Grassroots Economic Organizing. And he wrote this just a couple months ago, guys. So this is fresh. So this is about the Metallicus blockchain, and this is a blog, but I was more interested in the actual lawsuit. Here it is here, guys. So check this out. The guy who sued Metallicus is named Donald Burke. He was a banking veteran who previously served as a board member and chief operating officer of Metallicus. He sued the company in San Francisco Superior Court. I never heard of this. Alleging age discrimination and whistleblower retaliation. Now, I've worked in corporate, guys. I've seen my share of this kind of stuff. In the suit, Burke claimed that he was fired by the company after raising concerns of discrepancies in the company's financial reporting. Specifically, he said customers' crypto tokens we hold, could have been paid out to employees receiving large salaries, some up to $1 million, guys, a year. Imagine making that, right? I guess people on that side of things wouldn't complain. But in reviewing the company's coin balance, and I have to say this, specifically, he said right here, the customers' crypto tokens could have been paid out. He's not saying they were paid out. He's saying it could have happened. So there's smoke. In reviewing the company's coin balance, because he was in that role, Mr. Burke became concerned that the hole in the financial reporting was a result of Metallicus unlawfully taking customers' tokens to fund its own payroll obligations, the lawsuit said. When Mr. Burke raised concerns regarding the stark disparity in compensation between his own meager salary, so you see it right there, that's where a lot of the anger came, and the extraordinary salaries received by his younger counterparts, particularly during 2022. This wasn't long ago, guys. This is when Metallicus didn't generate any revenue. His employment with Metallicus was abruptly terminated. So he's claiming in the suit that the company was investigated by the U.S. Securities Exchange in 2024. That was just a year ago, guys, and I hadn't heard about this. Possibly for selling crypto tokens without a broker's license, or for double minting tokens in practice, where owners of cryptocurrencies use the same tokens for multiple transactions. All of that is a no-no. And if this is true, and I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I believe a lot of crypto companies are guilty of that. Now, that's not to absolve them of anything, but I want you guys to look at something here. He did also say, if I were St. Cloud, and you know, they was the first credit union to have their own stable coin just recently. He says, I will be talking to my lawyers about how to get out of any contracts we've already signed with this company ASAP. So Josh, Mr. Davis, is already saying they are guilty. So I look at that and I say, okay. Rather troubled by what I found, I continued to search and soon came across the Forbes article from May of last year, how Bank Social and Metallicus are banking on blockchain in 2024. And then he goes on, and I'll leave this down below for you guys, because he goes on to talk more about it right here. For the interest of time, I'm not going to go over all that, but I do want to look at that, because as a researcher, and this is how I look at things. So you're looking at it, right? You come across this, he's like, damn, they're guilty. Let me, throw this stone at this glass house. Let me get out of it, because I can't trust them. I always told you guys, I'm big on ethics when it comes to things. So you look at this and you say, so what should I do? What should I do? What I did, I looked at the information. I went over all this a couple times, and then I zoomed out and I said, okay, let's just suppose this is not an isolated event and this happens to other people. So I said, I went over here and I said, okay, let's look up JP Morgan. Look what I found on JP Morgan. And what I'm about to reach something for you. JP Morgan and Chase, agrees to pay $9.8 million to resolve a gender discrimination allegation. Guys, and this, where we at? Right here. While not admitting liability, JP Morgan and Chase will, as part of an overall agreement, pay at least $9.8 million, which includes $800,000 in back pay and interest to 67 eligible litigation class members, and a minimum of $9 million in pay equity adjustments for female and minority employees across the JP Morgan and Chase U.S. workforce. Guys, that is a lot of people. And they agreed to pay. So there, to me, in my eyes, there was some wrongdoing up there, or maybe not by the top, or if it was a top, it was somebody that did something, or they just paid to say, let's just make this go away. But a lot of this unless you search for things like this, sometimes the bigger the company, this stuff just tends to float around on the smaller news media companies like PR Wire and stuff like this. But so this was released and you say, okay, wow, they did that. Okay. Then you look here at another one. Laquan Dice sues JP Morgan for racial discrimination and retaliation over revoked wealth management role. And it says here he sued them. Basically, he's black. And they micromanaged this guy constantly. And he didn't receive the same compensation or shall I say, he didn't receive the same advancements and as his counterparts who were other nationalities. So that right there, and he's suing them for 24 million settlement involving similar claims of racial bias against all black employees. So it happens. It does. So I went over and I said, okay, let's look at Bank of America. Looked at Bank of America, and right here we got one. Today, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ordered Bank of America to pay more than $100 million to customers for systematically double dipping on fees imposed on customers with insufficient funds in their account, withholding reward bonuses explicitly promised to credit card customers, and misappropriating sensitive personal information to open accounts without customer knowledge or authorization. Yeah, this happened. And the reason I want to show you guys all of this, and I'm going to jump over here, is because the Metallicus blockchain, ecosystem, there's a load of different tokens that people can invest in. You got MetalPay, you got Loan, you got XPR, you got all of these. Metallicus blockchain, you got all of these, or MetalPay or whatever. But you got all of these avenues you can invest in. And what I want you guys to see, especially when it comes to doing research like this, don't be so quick to make a rash decision that you might miss or regret in the future. I look at things like this and I say, if that happened to that employee, you know, I don't know if he would see a video like this, Mr. Burke, but, you know, I'm sorry that happened. And could there have been some wrongdoing? I say yes, because, again, when you get great wealth, it can be traced back to some criminal activity or something that happened. That's not to say across the board, but sometimes maybe. So I look at that and I say, based on that, it doesn't change my investment direction. I'm not just going to run and pull all my money out because of that, because as I showed you, you can go across any of these large institutions and you can see there's some type of anger or some type of disagreement that happens between employees and their employers all the time, which results in suing, discrimination, or I didn't get that job that I feel like I was entitled to. It happens. You know why? It's like I always tell you guys, because people are involved. And when you get people, you get more of a predictive thing that's going to happen. Like the higher you rise in something, you're going to get these factions or different people that's not agreeing with all of the decisions that you make. I'm sure you out there who work 9-to-5 jobs, you don't agree with everything that your company does. And I'm pretty sure if you use the dig, you probably find that someone somewhere sued that company. So if you're invested in these companies, a lot of these Fortune 500 companies that a lot of you are invested in, I'm sure some of you are invested in Bank of America, JP Morgan and whatnot. A lot of you don't even know things like this happen. But is it going to cause you to get out of your stock that has been profitable for you? It's all about picking a side, I know. And depending on your moral compass, you might, just based on some of the things I read you. But as far as me, no, it's not. It's not going to move me because, for one, I'm not that type of person, but I judge things on, is this profitable for me? And somewhat, I am a moral person, and I believe in people being, as far as I trust people to be themselves and be people. The bigger the organization, the better the chances that there are some corrupt players involved. We see it all the time. We see it in politics. But if that's what you're gauging your investments on, that right there, things like that, an article like that, then 9 times out of 10, anything is going to move you off course of making it to that next level. So my phone ringing, excuse me, guys. Making it to that next level of steady wealth growth. So guys, let me know down below if you knew about that case, that Metallicus case, and if you got any more information on that case. I seen that case basically involved them misappropriating their funds and using double minting and age discrimination. But it sounds more like he was upset that people was making more than him that was younger than him. And based on that, and based on some things he could have found, I don't know. I'm still looking to see what I can dig up from the SEC and see if there was any, if there was smoke and if there was actually fire. But again, that could be a personal deal, and I'm not going to cast my whole portfolio aside just based on that. If you zoom out and look at the overall playing field, this is not an isolated event. It happens all the time. You guys let me know down below what you think. I'm out. My heart